Welcome back to Clippers and Conversations. We got another haircut tutorial for y'all. I like to break down my haircuts into 5 steps. Step 1 will be the consultation. Step 2 will be setting your foundation. Step 3 will be setting your guidelines. Step 4 will be blending, and step 5 will be detailing. So we're about to start with the consultation. What I like to always do is stand out in front of the client. That way you're not distracted with something else and you can hear them clearly. So how we begin your haircut?
Could I get a mid-skin fade with a comb over? And then for the top, you can just leave it.
Just leave it?
Yeah.
All right. So we're doing a mid-skin fade with a comb over. What I like to do with the comb overs is comb the hair in the direction that it's going to be styled for when I cut it. And what I always do when I set my foundation is I always comb the hair first anyways. What you're doing when you comb the hair is you're landing hair in the right direction, but you're also checking to see if the client has any products or anything or any bumps or anything in their hair that you need to be aware of. So what we're about to do to set our foundation for this cut is I'm gonna start with my 2 guard. Typically what you can do, especially when you know you're doing a skin fade, is you can always kind of start with your 2 guard. It'll always blend into, for the most part, it'll blend into what you're doing in the top. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut all this hair down just to set a good starting point, and I'm gonna come back with my flat top comb, and I'm gonna make the hair at the top blend into the 2. So what I'm doing is, and this is for beginners, so I'm gonna be explaining some stuff that you might already know, but this is open position, this is a closed position. What I'm doing is I'm start my clipper in the open position. The open position cuts less hair, closed position cuts more hair. This is a 2 guard. So we're just setting that foundation. And what I'm doing is I'm flicking up at the end of my strokes. So you see what I'm doing here. You see I was leaving that little bit of hair right there? That's what we're gonna come back and get with the flat top comb. That's why it is important for us to comb the hair in the direction that it's gonna be styled in. Because you don't want hair hanging over at the end of the cut. So you're gonna keep that going all the way around. Don't worry about that little bit of hair that's sticking up at the top. Use your comb to move hair out of the way that you don't want to cut. Same thing. Flicking motion at the end. When I say flicking motion, what I'm doing is going up and out. So I'm not going straight into the hair, straight into the head with the head shape. I'm not doing that. You want to leave some hair sticking out. That way you come in with your flat top comb and make it go straight up. We still setting the foundation here. Now I'm taking my flat top comb. Same thing, clipper open. And you're going up right like this. I take my flat top comb, I go up and I go out a tad bit. And you just cut that hair and it'll blend in to the sides. They call this technique clipper over comb. See what we're working with? You see this hair sticking out right here? We're using clipper over comb over all of that. down a little bit. So same thing. Go up and out just a tad bit. Even with the hair up here. Comb that hair out the way. And if you need to clip the hair, you can. Same thing. And I'm not saying this is the last time we're gonna do this during the cut. Step 5 is called detailing, because that's when we're gonna come back and do those little details we need to do. All right. So that's that. See, that didn't take too long. Then we're gonna move on to the next phase. That's setting your guideline. What we're doing when we're setting our guideline, we're starting with the clipper close, cut some more hair. What I like to do on the mid phase is look at a facial feature. I'm gonna make it line up with his eyebrow on both sides. That'll be mid. If you wanted to have it lower than that, you think that's a little bit too high, you can maybe use his eye as a guide for where you're starting at. And that's just so you can be consistent. It's not something that is a deal breaker or anything like that, but you want to find ways to be consistent with your cut. That way, every time the client come in, they know what they're gonna get. So I'm starting line up with his eyebrow, making my first guideline. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have the line drop in the back a tad bit and curve around. I prefer to do that little drop in it, even if the client doesn't necessarily ask for a drop fade. It's just my personal preference. I like the way the fade comes out a little bit better. So do the same thing on the other side, starting with his eyebrow. We're gonna make that first guideline. Do a slight little drop. We're just gonna make it connect to the line we already started. And that's that. We're not gonna worry about this hair down here for now. We're gonna leave that. Don't even waste your time. So we can start on this side. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do like another guideline with the clipper open. So you can have two lines. So with this one, I'm just gonna bring it up a tad bit higher. I'm gonna keep the same distance going all the way through. This second line, it determines the stretch of your fade. So sometimes you can make that line look a lot thicker than you normally would. It'll just make the fade stretch a little more. So that's usually what people are talking about when they're asking for like a high and tight. The fade is tight because that line, that second line they did wasn't that wide. So the blend isn't so stretched out. So what I'm doing, I'm gonna look at his eyebrow again, just look at the top, just so I can line it up. But I'm gonna keep that line the same distance all the way around. So same thing. All the way around, and we're gonna stop halfway again. Start on this side, same thing. So now what we're gonna do is go to the blending phase. That's step number 3 is blending. Oh, step number 4. We're on step number 4, blending. So what we're blending? We're blending out these guidelines. I like to blend down, so what that means is I'm taking my highest guard and working my way down to my lowest guard. I know we did a 2 right here, so I'm gonna start my 2 guard and kind of work my way down until I knock this line out, and then we're gonna focus on the next line. So I'm starting with my 2 guard open again, hitting that same area again. I'm gonna work my way down to the close. I'm closed now. And another thing, when I'm doing the blending, I only focus on one side of the head at a time. That's that for the 2 guard. Work your way down to the 1.5 guard. When you get a little more advanced with this, what you can do is go straight to your 1.5 instead of the 2 when you do your foundation. I like to tell beginners to start with the 2 because it's just a safer way to go about it. So you don't have to worry about cutting off too much. Once you get more experience with this, you're gonna know how to eliminate certain guards, just to save yourself a little time. What I just want y'all to get is a system down before you start kind of experimenting and stuff like that. If you watch my Look and Learn videos, you'll see that I don't necessarily do everything in an exact order every time, but I'm so used to doing it that I can kind of go in and out of the process. Sometimes I might start a cut with a lineup just because, I just feel like that is appropriate for that haircut. So now we just did the 1.5, now we're on the 1 guard. Started open again, work my way down to the close position. I'm right on that line. And what you're doing is you're working your way down. I'm not using my 1 guard in the same area I was using my 1.5 or a 2. You slowly work your way down with each lower guard you use. Some of y'all might already know that, but remember, these videos are geared towards beginners. So some stuff I'm gonna be saying is kind of redundant, repetitive. You probably already know, but this is for those that don't know. All right, that's that for the 1 guard. Now we going to the 0 guard. If it's a half guard for you, use your half guard, whatever the next lowest guard is. You start right on that line. You should start seeing that line disappear at this point. Don't be scared to use the corner of that clipper. Notice here, look, how I'm using the corner of that blade. When you get down to those lower guards, you want to learn how to do that. That's how you get that blend. And I close it. I use that corner even more. This is where the skill is gonna come in a little bit. Know how to knock out those dark spots. If it was as easy as just throwing the guard on and doing it, everybody could be a barber, but it is gonna take some practice and some skill. But you'll keep practicing and you'll get the eye for it. Don't be discouraged. You do a bad cut, don't be discouraged. You gotta have the mind of a quarterback, Throw that interception, but you get back out there. You keep playing, keep going. That's how you get better. We've all done a bad cut before. We didn't just come out with the skill to cut hair. You gotta practice though. Don't be afraid to mess up. All right, we're done with that guard. You see where we at with it? That line is kind of gone. So we're going down to the next guard, or no guard. So start my clipper open again. I'm gonna use the corner of my blade to hit those little dark spots right there. There we go. Knocking that out. And I encourage you, just do what you gotta do and move on. Don't be sitting there all day trying to blend. Like, you gotta move on. You know, you gotta do your system, and there's gonna be time to detail it later. That's the point of having a system, so you don't waste too much time. So now we're working our way down to this next line. So we're still using our no guard, and what we're gonna do is just slowly close the clipper to get that line out. All right, that's that. Just like that, we're halfway done with the cut. So what I like to do, we leaving this. Don't worry about that right now. We're gonna go to the other side, do the same steps. Y'all already know what guard we starting with. Our highest guard. Same deal. Don't be afraid to get in there and start cutting that hair. You know, because you know what you got to do. You got a system. Don't be cutting timid. It's your job to cut the hair off. It's okay, cut the hair off. All right, that's that. Go down to the 1.5. Same thing. Close. And I'm still kind of doing that flicking motion at the end. And we're working our way open. Flicking up at the end still. All right, next guard. You should see how quick I'm able to do this. Your haircut shouldn't take an hour. I really don't care what they get. It shouldn't take you an hour. If it's taking you hours to do a haircut, you need to figure out your system. I like to take this time to tell everybody that subscribe, that I appreciate it. Go and watch the other videos. Thank you everybody that leaves the comments. If you like this kind of content, go to subscribe. This is your first time seeing this, please subscribe. Please watch the other videos. I'm gonna be trying to post these every day that I work. So you'll probably be getting about 4 videos a week. Different haircuts, different hair types. I want to congratulate y'all on taking the first step to get better. You never want to stop learning. Even me, I'm still learning every day. So never think that you got it all down or that you're too good to be taught something. So now we're down to the 0 guard. We're about done with this side already. Then we're gonna move on to the last step of the haircut. That's that for the 0. Going down to the no guard. See what we focus on, those little dark spots with the no guard, then we're gonna knock this line out. Use the corner of that blade. And then as you work your way down, you can kind of flatten the blade out. Like once I get down here and start working this line right here, that's when it's kind of safe to kind of flatten that blade out a little bit. But when you're going up into the thicker parts of the hair, you want to use the corner of that blade. Once you can master that technique, you'll be surprised that you can do a lot of cuts with no guards. And I plan on doing a video kind of teaching that too. That one won't be so much geared towards the beginner phases though. Master this first and then, focus on those advanced cuts later. And I'm gonna go knock out that second line, that bottom line. See how quick I did that right there? That's all it takes. That's that. If you see anything from the previous steps that you want to get, just don't worry about that till you start detailing. Keep it moving. If you would have been getting something cut off the top, you can save that to the end, or you can do that while you're setting your foundation just to get out the way. But you wouldn't worry about that. Once you start blending, just focus on blending. All right, that's that. Now we're going to our last step. That's the detailing. What the detailing includes is your lineup. I'm gonna put some products in his hair, comb it back and do all that good stuff. We're gonna ball this out. And then, that's going through and making sure that the fade is clean, there's no dark spots. So that's why I tell y'all don't worry about it until the end. A lot of times, all you gotta do is just see it through, And some stuff might not be looking right to you early on in the cut. But just like you painting a picture, this is a work of art. You just gotta see it through to the end and it'll come together. All right, so starting on the lineup. What we're gonna do, we're gonna clip his hair up, get it out the way. So what I'm looking at is all these little hairs that's sticking out. We're gonna cut those, line them up. What you wanna do is tell the client, turn the hair towards you. Do that a little bit. So you can always do that. You don't have to lean over the chair and all that. Just remember to tell them to turn towards you. Just makes your life a lot easier. So I'm looking at these short hairs because these hairs, I'm gonna cut these because they're not long enough to really make it with the rest of the hair. So, and it's been a little minute since he got his last cut, so those hairs were cut before. When you lining the head up, what you want to do is stabilize your hand with your pointer finger. Talking to beginners, stabilize your hand and go like that. You're not like freehanding like that because then your hand won't be stable. You can shake. Your other hand should be on his head, stabilizing his head. And if he moves for some reason, sneezes or something like that, you'll feel it and you'll let go or move. Comb that hair down. Use the corner of that blade in that corner. You want to visualize it before you start cutting too. When I'm lining up, I'm not just randomly cutting. I see where I'm going. I imagine it essentially. All right, that's that. We're gonna move around to this part right here. We're just gonna ball this out. I like to flip the clipper up this way because for one, it helps it blend into the rest of the fade. at least on this area. And two, it's a little more gentle on the skin. I don't like it to go down around this area. I don't like really necessarily going down towards the ear like that, because you don't want to mess around and hit that sensitive area right there. Not a big issue, but just some stuff you can be mindful of. His ears aren't like super big like some people, so for some people the ears you gotta look out for. When I get around here, this is where I flip the clipper down. Right, you kind of choose what you would rather do. All we doing is just balling that hair out. Real easy. Go halfway and stop. And kind of go back and kind of clean up, flip the clip back up, where that blends into the rest of the cut. Kind of flick around that line using the corner of the blade. Don't mess around, go too high doing that though. Mess around, create a whole new type of haircut. Just clean it up. Now we're gonna take our balder. I like to use the Bronze 9, or S9 Pro is what it's called. I like to use that. And with the balder, all you're doing is like the very bottom, just to get it clean. Real quick. Very bottom. For certain hair types, I don't recommend using a balder. Curly hair, it grows in a certain way that causes hair bumps, and if you cut it too close, that can cause people to have ingrown hairs and stuff like that. So for straighter hair, you don't have to worry about that as much. All right, we're gonna do that. We're gonna move on. That's how that side is looking right now. All right, going on to the other side. Same thing. Starting with the lineup. I'm gonna move my clips over just to get that hair out the way. Turn your head towards me. So on the left side, what I like to do is I like to switch hands, because what I found is it's a little bit easier for me to see what I'm doing and to make those both sides look the same. It's a little awkward on using the right hand, kind of going back, and just to be able to see. So using your left hand is not as hard as it may seem. All you're doing is use that pointer finger, same way, and doing the same thing. Then you can see a little bit better doing that. So same thing. I'm looking at the line, starting from the middle, just make it match the other side. I'm not pushing him back. His hair can flip up, you can kind of see where his line is at. Some people like pushing linos back. I like to try to keep it as natural as possible, within reason. There are some people that you might have to push it back a little bit, but you want to talk to them about that if you feel like you have to do that. Same thing. All right. So right forward. We're doing the same thing we're doing on the other side. And we at this point, I mean, you're real close to being 100% done with the cut, just that fast. At the very end, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray some water in his hair and kind of style it in the direction he's styling it. You want to do that just to make sure that there's no hair falling over. And if there is, you want to use your flat top comb to knock that hair out. Because what you don't want to do, you don't want him to go home and style it himself and see a little hair sticking out. Look down. Look towards me again. What I'm checking now is I'm checking at the corner of these boxes. Don't forget to do that because sometimes people's sides go a little different. So his is lined up. I like to use my fingers just to make sure those bottom corners are lined up. I'm pretty satisfied with the way those look, so I'm not gonna mess with it. But yeah, just don't forget to do those little things like that. I'm gonna let his hair out the clips. All right. Comb that over. All right. So what we're gonna do before I move on and spray the water and all that, we're gonna look at the fade real quick just to make sure I'm cool with it. Make sure I don't see no dark spots. Look down a little bit. So the way the light is hitting that, I'm not liking how it looks a little bit tad dark. So and around this area, I know I use the one guard. So what I'm gonna do is take my one.
Ready?
And I'm just gonna, don't take forever doing this. You're not trying to make a whole new fade. Just go ahead and use the corner of that blade, flick up, make those minor improvements. And right there, I don't know if y'all can see that in the video, but it's a slight dark line right there. No guard, corner of my blade. See how you have more time to get that done when you just save it to the end versus trying to get it all perfect at once. And then you use up all your time, then your next client to come in, now you gotta get them out the chair. You don't have time to go back in detail like that. Versus going ahead and get the whole cut done so you see the whole picture. And then you have a better understanding of what you need to fix. Because you might be wasting time on something that you didn't even really need to even touch. It would have looked good in the end anyways. So just keep it moving. I'm checking for any dark spots. Just using the corner of that blade. All right, I'm satisfied with that for now. All right, taking my water bottle. Spray his hair. For the comb overs, what I like to do is I'm not just going over like that, but you want to go in the front, you want to go back, straight back. Just straight back, and then over. So like all the way back, shit straight back. So you kind of see how his hair sits now. That I went straight back. Versus if I just would have went straight like that, it would have set like that. But go straight back with it first, and then over. Yeah. So what am I looking at now? I'm looking for any hairs that might be sticking out. You want any product in your hair?
No.
So he don't want no product, so you ain't worry about that. So go back with my liner to get all that. I see these little hairs sticking out. I'm gonna use my flat top comb to get that. Then once we're gonna do that, we're gonna hit with a razor and then we'll be done. I'm not making a new line up. I'm just getting the little hairs that's going over the line. Got that. Flat top comb. Turn towards me so they can see. So y'all see these hairs are sticking out right here? You kind of see it from the front, even on this side just a tad bit. You want to get that with a flat top comb. Don't be scared to cut that hair. Same thing on the other side. All right, and that's that. I always use a fresh razor. We're not using reusing razors on clients. You might think that goes without saying, but I've seen people do it. Yeah, but all right, for the razor, what you're doing is just stretching the skin in the opposite direction. So stretch that skin real easy. Sorry about the camera angle. Sometimes I forget that I gotta keep it centered. Stretch that skin. Here you see I'm pushing the hair down out the way and stretching with the other finger. While he's laying down from here, I can kind of see those hairs that's kind of sticking up right here. So I'm gonna take my shears, I hold that hair out the way and just kind of get those hairs. All right, that's that. A little bit of water go a long way. All right.
That's good.
We're good to go. This concludes this cut tutorial. If you like these kind of videos, please subscribe. Please go watch my other videos. I appreciate the support so far. We out. Peace.